Hi, boys and girls. For today's multiplication lesson, we are going to look at equal groups as a way to solve multiplication problems. And with equal groups, we know that objects are going to be arranged as such in equal groups. So every group is going to have the same amount. So in this case, we're going to determine how to make those equal groups. Yesterday's work on arrays, we saw that when we are making an array, arrays are arranged in rows and columns. So for us, that multiplication symbol can be referred to as rows of. So 3 times 6, you could think of that as being 3 rows of 6 objects. And we saw that in yesterday's practice work where we were drawing 3 rows of 6, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then we did a second row of 6, 5, 6, and then we did a third row of 6, 5, and 6. And we saw that those rows and columns that were made would create that shape of a rectangle. Okay, it'd have that rectangular shape, and that would equal 18. So when we had 1 times 4, 1 row of 4 is equal to 4. Now in today's work, we are going to use groups. So the multiplication symbol today, we're going to think of it as being groups of. Okay, and I'm going to show you a couple examples today where we can use that terminology and you can use it in your practice work this week. So let's look at our first problem. Ronan goes to the creek to catch tadpoles. He puts 2 tadpoles in 1 Ziploc bag. When he gets home, he has 8 bags of tadpoles. How many tadpoles did Ronan catch altogether? So that's a great little story problem that we have. We know that he puts 2 tadpoles in each bag. So 2 tadpoles fit in a bag. And when Ronan gets home, he realizes, I've got 8 bags of tadpoles. So our job is to figure out how many did he catch altogether. So altogether tells us we can add these up if we want. But if we're doing a lot of adding of the exact same number, that's repeated addition, and that is where multiplication can answer it for us in a lot quicker way. So you learned in primary that when faced with a word problem, drawing a picture is a really good example of to help you understand the problem. So I'm just going to draw my Ziploc bags here. So when Ronan got home, he said he had 8 bags of tadpoles. So I'm just going to draw these quick little bags. There's 6. 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And he had in each bag, we'll draw these guys little black 2 tadpoles. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 2. You notice the repetition. That's why we're going to go into multiplication, because we can speed up the problem solving process if we know our numeracy skills. Okay, so there's my tadpoles. Remember, he said he had 2 in each bag. So there are my tadpoles. I've got 8 bags. So how many groups do you see? 8, good. And 8 groups of, or 8 times 2 equals how many tadpoles? 16. Good job. Okay, and those are multiplication skills. This is a skill set that will come quickly to you with that practice, trying to get that to memory. So when we're solving this problem, we can now write our sentence that Ronan caught, okay, past tense of catch, Ronan caught 16 tadpoles. Okay, so 8 times 2 is 8 groups of 2. Ronan caught 16 tadpoles. So let's look at this in another problem and see how we can apply the grouping strategy of multiplication. Katerina is sorting quarters from her purse. She makes 9 piles of 4 quarters. How many quarters does she have in all? All right, so looking at the problem, we know that there are 9 piles, and we know that there are 4 quarters in those piles. She makes 9 piles of 4 quarters, so 4 quarters for each pile. How many quarters does she have in all? All right, so we're going to be doing addition, and if it's addition of the same number, that's repeated addition, and that is your multiplication. So she makes 9 piles of 4 quarters. Okay, so here's one pile. So I'm going to draw 4. So there's a pile of 4 quarters. And here's another pile. All right, so she's taking her quarters. She's stacking them up. There's 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7, 8, and this is Katerina's last pile, and 9, okay? And so sometimes, boys and girls, when we're doing our groups, you might put like a circle around it just to help with your counting so that we don't get confused. There's 3, there's 4, and 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. Oh, there we go. So how many groups do you see? 9, good. And how many are in each group? How many are in each group here? I'm just going to try something a little different here. So there are 9 groups of, we can say there are 9 groups of 4, okay? And that can also be said as 9 times 4 equals. All right, so we can count these out if we need to. We can count them out as 4, 8, 12. So I'm just adding 4 each time. 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, and 36. So you saw how long that took me there. Again, that's why I keep pushing you to do your best. Make it a goal to memorize your facts. That'll make it easier when you are showing your work and checking for accuracy in your numbers. And so there are 36 quarters. So right here I can now say that Katerina has 36 quarters. Okay, I could add, if I wanted, in her purse to give that little bit more detail to her response. Now, there is a bonus question down here. So let's look at the bonus question. Let's just slide it down a little bit. The bonus question ties into our money unit. So here's a good example of applying 2 different math concepts and putting them together. How much money does she have in quarters? So if I took all of the quarters, how much would this all be worth? We know there's 36 quarters, but how many dollars is this going to be? How many dollars are we going to have here? Okay, so I can look at it as, well, I know there's 25, 50, 75, $1, $2, $3, $4, $5, $6, $7, $8, $9, 9 groups of 4. So $9 is what Katerina has in quarters. Okay, $9 is what Katerina has in quarters. Okay, there's an example, boys and girls, of applying another concept or 2 different concepts in one problem here. Okay, Now, in your work today, as you're working and doing your practice work to again strengthen your understanding of multiplication, think of groups. Okay, so 3 groups of 8. I'm going to think of making groups of 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And if I am counting them to get my total, that's going to be 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 19, 20, 24. All right, boys and girls. So in today's work or today's lesson, we are focusing on making groups. We are focusing on making groups to show multiplication. Please practice trying to do that in your work today.